All right, we are here recording the screen and I'm talking. Hopefully this is on and working. I'm John Anderson. I wanted to make this, we made some changes to the, we say we, I mean I made some changes to the minor league Statcast dashboard, and also a bunch of new people got access to it with Chris Clegg at the Dynasty Dugout. So a lot of people are brand new that don't, maybe even some people that don't know about the other stuff I do, or my Substack or my Tableaus. But since you have access to it, wanted to give it a walkthrough because it's not always the easiest thing to understand when you're first looking at it. And this will help my subscribers too, because again, I kind of overhauled this last week, so it's good to go over it again. So we'll try to keep this to 5 to 10 minutes or something, just to be quick. But what you're looking at here is the dashboard. Not the exact one, but it's a demo, one I'm using for the demo. The big thing that, so here, just highly general, here's your data is always going to be below in table format most of the time. These rows right at the top here, the bold, the grand totals, that's just like the league average or the sample average. Whatever's below it, it calculates the overall averages at the top. Above the data is these pull downs, sliders, and filters and stuff. So one thing to really keep in mind is if you pick so if we want to filter by pitchers that have faced at least 100 batters, total batters faced, you put 100 there. You have to keep in mind that if you set a filter, it's not going to go off until you either clear it with this button or if you refresh. So a lot of times what you'll end up doing is like you'll set a 150 filter, you'll go to some other tab, start looking at something else, come back, and then you'll want to go sort by something else. You know, maybe go see what the rubber ducks are doing, and you'll be like, hey, where is everybody? No, it's broken, but it's because you still had this filter on. So now you selected a team that has nobody that has faced 150, so you don't get anything, so you have to clear that. So whatever you set above, clear it, do refreshes often. If you're, close it, reopen it, and all the filters will be gone, but that's something very important to keep in mind. The sliders and stuff, you'll see these all over the place. This is good for just like, okay, I want to know all the pitchers with a 25% or greater strikeout rate that have faced at least 100 hitters and have kept the walks under 8%, 7%, since that's what I typed. And there's your result, so it'll give you that. Another thing to keep in mind, intentional walks aren't going to be reflected here because no pitch is thrown for an intentional walk, and the data set is completely. It comes every time a pitch is thrown, a new row is added to the data set. So if it's an intentional walk, no pitch is thrown, no data is entered, we missed that walk. Same is true with violations. That's new this year. So if you strike out on a pitch, if a pitcher gets a strikeout because the batter wasn't in the box or paying attention or whatever in the right time, he'll strike out, but it's not going to show here because no pitch was thrown. So please don't quote these numbers. Like these strikeout rates are probably not exactly right in a lot of cases, but they're not going to be far off because those events are pretty rare in terms of intentional walks and violation strikeouts and stuff like that. But this is not the Bible in terms of exact numbers. Just keep that in mind. But again, very small differences. You can feel very confident that these numbers are quite close. Okay. So this is the pitcher one. This is basically just pitcher data. I don't even really know what needs explained here. You're probably pretty good. If you're this into minor league data or minor league baseball, you're probably aware of what these stats are. Strike percent, ball and play percent. These are kind of new ones that I've been using, but this is the percent of your pitches that earn a strike. This is the percent of your pitches that earn a ball, and the percent of your pitches that go for a ball in play. These should sum to 100%. Because every pitch is one of these three things. So if you throw one right down the middle and it gets hit into play, that is a ball in play. It's not a strike. So it's different than zone rate. Because if a ball is put in play, it's not a strike. It's ball in play. So, all right. Here's your pitch arsenals, and this will give us a good chance to show the difference between the Statcast games and the non-Statcast games. In AA and in most of single A, there is no Statcast system. So what that means is it still goes pitch by pitch. The data records every pitch, but it does not pick up the pitch type or the movement or the velocity or the exit velocity, things like that. So we'll look at, but if you look at the International League, Pacific Coast League, these are the AAA leagues, and this is the one single A league, the Florida State League, that has this stuff. And you can see that these 3 leagues are the only ones showing up because we have, by default, Statcast games only selected. The reason for that is because if we go to no, if you go to the Texas League, there are no pitch types. We don't know about what pitch types these guys are throwing, therefore this tab basically doesn't work. So you're basically not using this tab if you're looking for information about non-Statcast leagues, which is all but these 3. But if you are looking at AAA or single A data in the Florida State League, this will give you each pitch breakdown. It'll give you the percent of its usage, velocity, and all the other stats that we're kind of used to. So keep that in mind. These are the 3 leagues that have Statcast data. Over here, that makes only a difference. So if we go to the California League, you won't see launch angle, ground ball, line drive, fly ball, exit velocity. You won't see any of that because it doesn't record that stuff. Game logs tab, this is a good one if you're just interested in how one individual pitcher is doing. So you can look at Gavin Stone and you can see his pitch logs. It's not like a box score by any means. There is another dashboard out there that I have with the actual box score stats. That's better for these stats, but this is better for the stuff like swinging strike rate and strike percentage and ball percentage and ground ball percentage and stuff like that. This is the more advanced data broken down by each start. Hitter data, same things. I don't really think I even need to cover this because everything I just explained is kind of applies here. So if you're not looking at Statcast games, you're not going to get the same stuff we just talked about. Be careful again, the same thing applies to OPS, batting average, on-base percentage, slugging. The denominators are going to be wrong in a few cases because like on-base percentage, the denominators is plate appearances, but if there's an intentional walk, it doesn't record that plate appearances, it's not going to be in here. So the denominator's wrong and the division's going to be slightly wrong. So again, don't trust these exactly, but if this guy says he's hitting 322, he's probably hitting 320, 324, 326 or something like that. But again, just never quote these stats exactly if you're looking to be exactly accurate. Batted ball profile, yeah, so you'll see the ID numbers here. That's what these are. It's because there's a bunch of guys with the same names, and if I just put the column, the row to be the batter name, there's going to be like, it'll combine 2 hitters basically. So I don't know a good example, but like Luis Garcia, there's multiple Luis Garcias, and if I didn't put this ID number there, it's going to just combine them into the same row, and the data will be all wrong. So that's why those are there. It makes it a little bit uglier, but at least you know who you're looking at. So barrels, barrel rate, ground balls, line drives, that kind of stuff, 90th percentile. Exit velocity, for that kind of stuff, always keep a higher threshold there. Don't want to just look at a 90th percentile velo for a guy with 5 batted balls or something like that. So this tab is pretty much useless for non-Statcast games. So just keep that on yes. I probably should even just take away that possibility and just limit it to that, but keep that in mind because batted ball stuff is all Statcast only. Plate discipline, more stats, chase rate, swing rate, zone swing rate, etc. Once again, I have not. Eventually, I'm going to try to get this zone stuff, zone swing and zone contact, because that is available, but I have to just figure out the math to derive it myself exactly for these non-Statcast games, because I have the pitch locations, but it doesn't put that in the zone. It doesn't do the zone breakdown like it does for Statcast games, so there is a way for me to figure that out myself, but it's been kind of tricky, so right now you won't see that stuff for non-Statcast, but eventually it may show up there. But still have contact rate and everything for all leagues, so that's a good thing. Games tracked, this is just a count. This is kind of there for my own benefit that I could probably get rid of this now, but this will tell you how many games tracked for each team and plate appearances and stuff, but nothing you need to worry about there. Here's 2 histograms. I plan on adding more data visualization stuff like this, but if you pick a player here, it'll show you the distributions of their launch angle and launch velocity, so that's kind of cool to see. Here's a huge table. Oh boy. Okay, so I should probably get rid of this because it's going to be, it's trying to show you data on every single batted ball, which is going to be a massive list, and I probably just froze this thing. So like we're learning as we go here. So I'm going to get rid of this because if you click it, it's going to crash. So don't worry about that. There it goes. But you can see this crazy long table. But this basically it breaks it down by every single batted ball, and this is the ID number that does that with. So Ellie De La Cruz hit a ball at 118.8 miles an hour, and that's the information on it about it. But that's just kind of gives you the individual, because you could say that De La Cruz's max is 118.8, but that doesn't really tell you that he's also gone over 116 two other times. So I don't know. Maybe I'll leave that up, but it does spin for a while, so it's probably better just take that down. Here's a couple more plots. This is like barrel rate against contact rate. So you can kind of see the hitters that are making high contact and high barrel at the same time, vice versa. And then here's a pitcher strikeout to walk ratios, scatter plot. But more stuff will be added to this. I'll keep playing around with it and then adding what I think is good. But I wanted to just show me clicking around on it and explain some of the things I think aren't super clear. You can ask myself with questions if you have anything. I'm right there, John PGH. So I hope you all enjoy it. Let me know what you think and what you want to add it and other ideas. Thanks.